Greetings. Today, I would like to talk to you about some very important alignments and astrological events coming up. We have a solar eclipse in Aries later this week on March 29th. We have also Neptune going into Aries on March 30th. This is a very significant development because Neptune doesn't change signs very often. So it has been in the sign it's currently in, Pisces, since 2012. And once Neptune fully moves into Aries, it will be there until 2038. So, significant change to the energy and the vibe that we experience in the collective. And I want to talk a little bit today about what it means and how you can think about it in terms of what is changing in the world, what is your role in what is changing, and how to think about it, and especially how to think about it in this bigger picture as we look at these outer planets that speak to the bigger picture of what is unfolding. We also have Saturn going into Aries this year as well. So I want to talk to you about that and what you can do with this energy. I'm Marina Orms here with your astro perspective for Sunday, March 23rd. And there is so much one can say about these different astrological energies. They are historic, especially talking about a Neptune-Saturn cycle. So as Neptune and Saturn come together fully in 2026, but they come very, very close to each other this summer. So in July, they get as close as they can get without being exactly conjunct, and then go retrograde and eventually back into Pisces for both planets before they enter Aries again in 2026 and form their exact conjunction. So all of that is to say that we have the seed planting of a bigger cycle. So the last time Neptune and Saturn were conjunct, so the beginning of the current cycle that we are completing, was 1989. So this is a big picture cycle, and really looking back at what has evolved and unfolded since that seed was planted in 1989. Some things changed and shifted in the world. I'm not a historian, so I won't go into details. You can look it up, but a lot of significant energies were shifting in some of the context of what's going on in the world, and really significant for history. So what is happening right now is that this same conjunction is forming. So we've come full circle. We're completing that cycle and beginning the next cycle. And significantly, both planets both entering Aries, where we have also new beginnings. So Aries is the sign of new beginnings, new birth, life force energy that is finding its way forward. So really planting a seed of a cycle that will last for decades to come. And it's significant that it is happening in Aries, the sign of the warrior. So a lot of people are talking about, what does this mean for war and warfare and conflict and some of the things that we are worried about in the world. But also, let's keep in mind that Aries energy is also life force. It is also birth. It is rebirth. It is emergence. So it is the energy of life making its way forward in the springtime after the winter, after it's the renewal, right? It's the new beginnings. It is the opportunity to really steer things and emerge and initiate and move things in a brand new direction. So that Aries energy is going to unfold in the bigger picture more and more as we move forward. Significantly, we've already had a big outer planet shift that astrologers have been following for the last couple of years of Pluto into Aquarius. So Pluto is now in Aquarius. That was another major outer planet shift. And Pluto will be in the sign of Aquarius, the sign of outside the box thinking, innovation, grassroots movements, the power of the individual. So Pluto is power, Aquarius is authenticity. So the power of being yourself is really a factor. And we can look at all the things that are unfolding in the world through this lens of understanding these deeper energies. So the need to find your power through being who you are, through your individual identity, recognizing our differences, supporting themes of freedom, equality, liberty, all of these bigger picture principles. So with Neptune, Neptune having been in Pisces, where we are dissolving into the greater oneness of everything, right? Where everything merges and we start to lose our ability to, things crumble, they dissolve. So we lose the structures, we lose the ability to contain things because that Neptune in Pisces energy is saying it's time to let go. It's time to release the structures of the past. So as we are completing that work with Neptune now in the final degree of Pisces and entering Aries later this week or next weekend, depending on how you look at it, on the heels of a solar eclipse. So the solar eclipse in Aries, starting off the next moon cycle with a bang. A new moon begins a moon cycle. The Aries energy is the energy of springtime, and a solar eclipse potentizes that new moon in Aries, that new beginnings feeling. It is also, because it is an eclipse, it is opening a portal, opening a gateway to new ways forward, to shifts in energy, to turning points. But remember that all of this is not predetermined. I do not practice astrology from the perspective of fate and destiny. I practice astrology from the perspective of we are the agents of what we are creating. We are the energy that is being activated. And so, looking at this bigger picture of how energy is shifting, we can ask ourselves what is being activated in each of us in our individuality, right? That Pluto in Aquarius energy is saying, how do you need to be yourself? How do you need to be authentic? What does freedom mean to you? What are your bigger picture principles that you care about? And where is the power, right? The power of the individual as opposed to the power of authority or authoritarians or conservative values that was more had more power with Pluto in Capricorn. So 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 we've got the combination of things dissolving with the Neptune in Pisces energy, along with that shift of Pluto into Aquarius that says it's time to wake up, it's time to be who you are and find your power, the power to be yourself and to empower ourselves in our differences, finding the ways that we are different, but all, part of the bigger whole, and what we can create from that through now with the Aries energy that we are just about to move into with a bang with that solar eclipse. we're going to have this energy of mobilization, of needing to take action, of finding courage, of that urge and that drive and that compelling feeling of needing to act. So that is astrologically, just objectively in the energy, that is what we see happening with the symbolism. So that mobilization energy is saying, what are you going to act on? How are you going to do things? How are you going to initiate, to move in new directions, to get things moving, but also to start things, to do that energy of springtime and be the new thing that you want to start, the new project, right? Step into new ways of being. So the outer planet Neptune going into Aries is a longer term process. And so it's not going to happen all at once. There's not going to be a week where we do it and it's done. It is going to be the beginning of really discovering what our bigger picture of values and what is important to us spiritually, which is what Neptune is about, and how we put that into action, how we move things forward. So this is all we're going to be at the very beginning of that, and it's going to take time. Same way with Pluto in Aquarius. It doesn't happen overnight. It's us feeling these different energies and going, oh, this kind of feels different. This is not what I'm used to or comfortable with, but I think that there are things I need to change about how I am showing up, about who I am being, about how I am engaging with the world and finding my own agency. So we are all being asked these questions. And I've been talking a lot on these videos in recent days and weeks about what does it look like once that Aries energy is in force? Are we we have to be clear about what's important to us, because once that urge to act shows up, we need to know what we're acting on. We need to know what we care about and why, and what is true in the bigger picture and what really matters. So when we act, we want to be pointed in the right direction. And so Neptune is myth, it is metaphor, it is the bigger picture of what we guide our lives according to, how we see ourselves in the bigger picture. And that myth and metaphor in Pisces is kind of all over the place, right? It has a lot of confusion to it. It has a lot of misdirection and fogginess that can happen. It also has the ability to, if we are paying attention, to help us connect with a bigger picture of what really matters, what really is important on on our bigger picture of spiritual needs, our heart's needs, our soul's needs. And once Neptune goes into Aries, that place of myth, of metaphor, of how we see ourselves, what is our guiding principle, moves into action. And Aries is all about movement. It's a fire sign. So what are we creating? What are we starting? What are we becoming? What are we initiating? And there's an opportunity here to step into new identities. It's going to affect all of us differently, and where it falls in your own chart is going to give you some deeper indication of how it is showing up for you personally. But in the bigger picture, stepping into this new sense of self. Aries energy is about birth and being born and birthing your new sense of self. So what are you doing, right? Why What do you want to become? That is the key question. Because if you're not thinking about what you want to become, what kind of world you want to create, how you want to be involved in it, what matters to you, and what aligns with what you're good at and what you enjoy, if you're not thinking about that, it could be easy to take action without really realizing what you're doing. Right? Coming out of that Neptunian fog and going, if you've been misguided, or if you've been lost in a dream or a fantasy, or misguided in terms of your beliefs, then once this energy of action is giving fuel to your fire, you could be propelled in a direction that is not really what is best for you, as well as, not really maybe what is best for the collective, but I don't know who gets to decide about that. But anyway, so here we are, and we need to know who we are. And as individuals, the best way we can respond to Neptune's ingress shift into Aries is to really think about who we are, what matters to us, what are we going to do about it, and what does it look like to find courage to live our lives according to bigger picture principles. So also keeping in mind that the Aries is a fire sign, Aquarius is an air sign. So we have really a bigger picture of action and movement that can be connected to ideas, ideology, connected to a vision of the future. And so finding out what that vision is, and I see a lot of people really grappling with this right now. What is the vision? What, what do we want to have as our goal, right? What does that look like? Because as things come apart, as they fall apart, as things change and shift, new opportunities open up. And so it behooves us, all of us, to think about what we want, to think about what is that vision for the future, and and also to come together in community. Really good Aquarius keyword is community. So coming together with others from diverse backgrounds and perspectives to formulate that vision together. And when we formulate the vision together, we can create it together. And so I've been hearing a lot of things about, what can we all agree on, right? What feels important? Because there's something really meaningful about coming together in the collective sense. We bring our differences, but not allow our differences to dismantle the collective vision, right? So bring your differences, but also find your commonalities. Find the vision that you are working together with others to create. And so it is a very creative time. Aquarius is about getting outside the box. I know I was going to talk about Neptune, but but Aquarius and Pluto in Aquarius is really a long-term process, right? So finding the power of being who you are is that Pluto lesson, Pluto in Aquarius, to be who you are and to find your own power and to recognize where you have freedom and how to reclaim freedom and how to remind others around you that your freedom is not negotiable, right? Connected to some bigger picture principles. And then, okay, so Neptune is going to shift into Aries um, following this a day after this solar eclipse in Aries. So there is emergence energy, there is birth energy, there is initiating energy. There is also the potential for conflict, for challenges and struggles, and frankly for moving in the wrong direction. Because Aries can come with risk taking and missteps, but it is the drive to keep going despite any missteps, or maybe things that don't work out the way we expect. So that need to emerge, to start new things, and to know where we stand, to know what's important to us, to find the courage to stand up for the things we care about, to find the voice, to speak up for what we care about. We have also Mercury and Venus both retrograde going into Pisces, um, and Mercury goes into Pisces right between the eclipse and Neptune going into Aries. But then Mercury stations direct on April 7th. There's also a lot going on in April. Venus stations direct on April 12th. So those two planets changing signs are also going to help us begin to move forward. So at first, the communication is going to be muddled. It's not going to be all figured out, or the messaging may not be all figured out with Mercury retrograde. So we're waiting for Mercury to station direct to have that more clear. But while it's retrograde, we can be reviewing our messaging, our words, our communication, ask ourselves, what is a more effective way to say what I need to say? Whether that is to my spouse, my neighbor, my dog, my government, right? Um, and then also we have in April coming up that Mars opposition to Pluto. It will be the third of three exact oppositions. So just before the November election in 2024, seems so long ago now. We had that Mars opposition to Pluto, and then Pluto went into Aquarius. So at any rate, this will be that third Mars opposition, also bringing in the Mars energy in Leo, themes about kings, themes about royalty, uh, drama, expression, taking up the stage, who gets all the attention. So that's the Leo Mars energy versus opposite Pluto in Aquarius, saying power to the people. So again, this struggle is playing out over long periods of time, but is also it's there for a reason. It's asking us to step up, but it's also allowing us the time to create things in really new and different ways. So that is going to be a longer process. If you are overwhelmed to the point of shutting down, uh, hiding under the covers, take care of yourself, because this is going to be a long process. And I've been saying this for months. It's not going to be over. It's going to be a long process. So pace yourself. Find ways of getting involved and engaged that are fun, right? That you enjoy, being around people you enjoy, and work that is meaningful to your heart and soul and spirit, because that will fuel you in the long run. So make it fun. I think it actually can be more invigorating, inspiring, at with these shifts of energy than it has been in the past, with Pluto and Capricorn, Neptune and Pisces. Even there's been sort of this oppressive feeling, this overwhelming feeling, this feeling of everything's happening and I can't control it. That's very Neptune and Pisces. So with Neptune going into Aries, there's stuff we can do about what we want to change. And the forces that are there in the world to try to improve upon, are there to inspire us to be who we are here to be. And so focusing on your soul's needs and your soul's journey as we go through this, because it's an awakening, really. So we're planting a seed of a coming cycle that is going to be for decades about awakening into who we are really here to be, and finding that life force energy, that sense of self that will allow us to move in the world and to show up fully as who we are here to be, to reject the limitations of the past that have held us back, the constructs that we feel like we've had to fit in the past. It can be replaced by something that works better, and at the same time we have to let go of our old comforts, some of the old systems and structures that we knew how they worked, and we would kind of like to keep it that way, but we can't. So what are we going to build? What is it going to look like? What are we going to create? This is very creative energy. And we've got the Pluto entering Aquarius, we've got Neptune entering Aries, and then we've also got later this year Uranus entering Gemini. So, and all three of those planets forming this grand sextile that will be in and out of very close to exact for a few years even. So very creative energy, and need to be who we are and to continue to work on ourselves to rejuvenate ourselves, restore our energy, do the self-care practices that help us keep going. Do you need to connect with nature? Do you need some rest? Do you need a day off from the news? Do you need a friend? Do you need to connect with a friend who shares your thoughts and beliefs and values that can help bolster and support your convictions, your principles, your ideas, your ideologies, your vision for the future? So come together with others to think it through, talk it through, dialogue, come together in groups, find your people. Um, those are my suggestions. Hopefully, some practical things in there that you can do. And I know I am just one of many people who may have advice right now, but let's keep the bigger picture perspective of what these planets are doing. These are big picture, long-term cycles and changes, and we are experiencing and in the midst of a significant shift in what the energies look and feel like. So, our ability to take advantage of the shift and the space that's opening up for creative thinking, creative solutions, dreams, and visions of the future that we can create when we can imagine them. So, thanks for being here. I'm Marina Orms, and I share videos every day with astrology for unshakable self-care, working with moon cycles, working with the daily moon sign and other energies to support you in your self-care practices and just in being aware of the vibe of the day so you can make the most of it, which how cool is that? So thanks for being here. And my website is astrologyheals.com. I'm Marina Orms, and I so thank you for hitting subscribe to support this work. And I will see you next time with more astrology for unshakable self-care. Bye for now.